Over the years of me doing photography, I've used many cameras across many brands. However, I've never used a Fujifilm camera. I've never even held one. Until today, that is. I've borrowed the X100VI for a little over a day to try out, have some fun with, and see if I can understand why these cameras are so popular. For the last 7 to 8 years, my main cameras have always been Sony, so this will definitely be a nice change of pace for me. Here's a quick snap of my dog in the office, so I at least knew how to turn the camera on before I went out with it, and off I went to Holy Island, where I experienced some of the worst possible photo taking conditions when you are using a new camera and want to see what it's all about. But I figured, let me stick with it and see what this camera can do. Full disclaimer, this is not a camera review per se, and this will definitely not be a technical video. This is just me taking photos with this camera for fun, and I will of course talk about anything that jumps out at me along the way. Today it was supposed to be not clear, not necessarily a nice bright sunny day, but it was supposed to be dry and it wasn't supposed to be windy. Chucking it down, gale force winds. Normally I wouldn't be bothered, but obviously I'm really excited to use this camera, and it's not mine, so I can't really put it through its paces in terms of the elements. Let's go make the most of it, see what we can do. So I guess we better start with why I even wanted to try this camera in the first place, and I was genuinely just curious, as I've never used one before, as I stated, and they're obviously extremely popular, almost cult-like. Especially when it comes to the whole colours debate, which we'll get onto later, but also using a completely new camera system from time to time, especially from a different brand, can also make you realise stuff about your own system that you come to appreciate a lot more, or maybe wish you could change. If a certain camera brand has something that you've always wanted and you use it and you decide, actually that's kind of a feature I can't live without, then it gives you a good idea for where you might want to go in the future with cameras. For me, and I feel like this is pretty healthy, and I wish more people had this attitude, cameras are tools you can enjoy and have fun with, regardless of what's written on the front. If you're somebody who's online arguing about camera brands or saying that X camera brand is terrible, your focus is in the complete wrong place, because all cameras are fantastic. The only difference between all cameras is that they operate slightly differently, they look differently, they have different features inside, and ultimately all that matters is that that actual model that's been bought out by that manufacturer works for its desired target audience. Speaking of the film simulations that are obviously extremely popular when it comes to Fujifilm cameras, I am going to use a few of these on this day out of taking photos, but I'm shooting in RAW and JPEG just because I'm curious to see what those JPEGs look like with the film simulations baked in. But ultimately I'm not keeping this camera, and I don't know what I'm going to do with the files in the future, so it makes sense for me to keep a RAW file of these images. I will go into this in a bit more detail and my opinions on the whole film simulation thing later on in this video. I actually think in terms of the build and the ergonomics of this camera that it's a beautiful camera. I've heard quite a few people say that it's kind of like a toy, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it feels solid. You lack some custom buttons, but overall I think it's a cracking looking camera, and I can really understand why people would want to use this camera just from an aesthetic standpoint, which does make it seem a bit like a fashion accessory, but I can get that. We all like to use nice items. It has the equivalent of a 35mm lens on the front when we're talking full frame equivalent, which actually feels quite wide to me nowadays. It does also have 2 teleconversion options on there. You can punch in 250 or 70mm. However, I realized in post this actually only applies to the JPEGs outside of the camera. When you pull the RAWs up into a RAW editing suite like Lightroom, they're the raw full resolution uncropped images. So this actually, for the way that I would use this camera, because like I said, I would still shoot in RAW I think if I was using this camera, actually kind of renders that feature a bit pointless, because you still have to crop and remember how you framed it anyway afterwards. The nice thing is though, the 40.2 to be precise megapixel sensor gives you lots of room for cropping, and you don't lose too much detail even when you are kind of replicating those 50 or 70 crops on your raw files. So one of the things I was really excited to try out on this camera was the fact that it's got an EVF that can switch to an OVF. So there's a little switch on the front of the camera and you can swap between electronic viewfinder and old school optical viewfinder that has some nice guidelines in there inside the optical viewfinder. Now I came from SLRs, DSLRs that always had optical viewfinders, and I've found it hard to get past that. I don't really like electronic viewfinders. So I thought this would be incredible, like using a modern quote unquote mirrorless camera, I guess, that has an optical viewfinder. Now for me, when I'm shooting, I tend to monitor with the LCD quite a lot. I mentioned this recently. So I'll often monitor my actual exposure and settings and stuff on the LCD, and then lift the camera to use the viewfinder to put my final tweaks and framing into place. So this works really great with this particular camera because you can monitor that scene, you can get your settings right and see the photo in real time on the LCD screen, and then pick up the camera to your eye, or bring the camera to your eye, should I say, and use the OVF to see a much better, in my opinion, preview of what you're looking at when it comes to framing. I had a lot of fun switching between this OVF EVF setting, but I don't think realistically you need both of them in a camera. It's really nice, it's a nice thing to have, and I wouldn't grumble if I saw that in later Sony models either. But I do think if a camera manufacturer does one of them well enough, you don't necessarily need both. Okay, so onto the film simulations a little bit. I only used 3 or 4, I think, while I was out taking photos, and I looked at the JPEGs and I thought they looked great. However, I'd still want to tweak those JPEGs further, and I know this is where the custom recipes come into play that the Fujifilm users are, obsessed with and speak high praise on. Unfortunately, I didn't have long enough with this camera to experiment with that, so that's not something I can talk on. However, what I would say is, for anybody that might be thinking, with this camera I can pick it up and shoot JPEGs and I can edit them a little bit or edit them not at all and the files will work great. I do think that is true. However, something to be aware of, I would say, especially me looking back at my long stint of practicing photography on and off and the different styles that you go through and the different mind states that you go through. If you shoot, let's say, for 3, 4, 5 years on a Fujifilm camera with a baked in film simulation that you love, and then at some point you decide, actually, my sort of creative direction has changed, what I like when it comes to imagery has changed, and you're only shooting JPEG, you're then stuck with thousands and thousands of JPEG files with a baked in look that might not necessarily speak to you anymore. They might not be your style anymore. If I was going to own one of these cameras myself, I would still shoot raw all the time, because it means if I shot an image 10 years ago, I can pick that raw file back up and bring it back in line with my current style of work. If I wanted to, I can make tweaks to it at any time. But with the baked in JPEGs, you are stuck with them. Also, if you're shooting raw, you can pick up those film simulations inside of Lightroom or whatever editing suite you're using and select different ones regardless of which one you were shooting with in camera, which is really nice. Okay, so this camera, it's gone back now, it's gone home, it's gone to its rightful owner. I don't have it here in front of me to hold and talk on anymore. I'm in a very funny place with this camera. I loved it. I loved using it. It was super inspiring. I love how it felt in my hand. I found myself coming home after that day of photography and I kept picking it up in the office and just being like, this is an awesome camera. I love it. I fell in love with it. Honestly, I did. But it was a love-hate, because I'm trying to tread carefully because I only used it for a day, and I don't feel like it would be very responsible to give a definite opinion on something that I haven't used for a long period of time. However, I feel like this camera is the tasty ice cream that you pick up when you're walking around town. £7 ice cream, pistachio flavour, and it's gorgeous and you love it and you eat it. But it's not the thing that you want to pay £7 for to keep you going and keep you strong and keep your health up all day long. Okay, let me put it this way. This might be the best way I can put it. If I had what I call stupid money, which is like Beyonce money, art collector's money, where you can go into anywhere and you don't need to check your bank balance and whatever you want, it's boop, anything you want, boop. If I had that kind of money, I'd buy one of these cameras. I think it's overpriced, but it's a fantastic camera and I'd pay it. I loved it. I loved it. Using a new camera system, or even just a new camera from a system you're familiar with, I've said this before, is like changing your desk position or moving office or redecorating your room. It gives you like a new lease of life. It's just fun. It makes you feel a bit more inspired. It's nice to try something new, and that's basically the whole reason I did this. That, and also being very curious about why these Fujifilm cameras are so popular. All right, hopefully this video was enjoyable. If there's any Fujifilm cool followers out there, I apologize if I offended you by saying it's overpriced, but yeah, kind of is. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.